You sit in front of your screen. The charts flicker, the price action dances, each tick like a heartbeat, pulsing with possibility and peril. Yet, despite all your technical knowledge, the real battleground of trading success doesn't lie on the screen. It lives inside your head. Your mindset isn't merely an accessory to your strategy, it is your strategy. Jared Tendler, in The Mental Game of Trading, illuminates this often neglected truth vividly, asserting that until you master your mind, technical prowess alone will never sustain your trading career. Trading, at its essence, is a high stakes mental performance, comparable to championship sports or professional poker. Each decision demands a calm yet sharp mind, able to process volatility without emotional disruption. You might be able to read the markets perfectly, identifying entry and exit points with surgical precision. Yet, if your mindset falters, even the most flawless plan collapses. Tendler insists that you must first recognize your mindset patterns, your biases, emotional triggers, and habitual responses. Without awareness, you remain captive to unconscious reactions, perpetuating cycles of frustration and loss. Consider a typical scenario. You face consecutive losing trades, each one chipping away at your confidence. The technical analyst inside you says, stick to the plan, but your weakening mindset whispers doubts, urging impulsive actions. Have you found yourself abandoning your strategy, driven by panic or the desperation to recover losses quickly? Tendler calls this reactive trading, a clear sign that your mindset is compromised. Your ability to stay composed under pressure separates the consistent professional from the emotional gambler. Tendler provides compelling examples of traders trapped in destructive cycles due to mindset flaws. There's the trader who consistently cuts winners short out of fear they'll turn negative, leaving profits unrealized and frustration mounting. Or another who stubbornly holds onto losing positions, refusing to acknowledge mistakes due to ego or denial. These traders aren't lacking technical skill. Their Achilles heel is psychological. Tendler argues that your most significant gains emerge from conquering mental habits, replacing harmful emotional responses with disciplined routines. Comparing Tendler's perspective with other giants like Mark Douglas or Mike Bellafiore, you'll notice a shared theme. Trading is fundamentally psychological. Douglas famously emphasized trading in the zone, a mindset free of fear or greed, operating purely on methodical discipline. Similarly, Bellafiore highlights the importance of mindset training in prop trading firms. Yet Tendler takes this further, practically diagnosing your psychological barriers like a clinical psychologist, mapping out not just abstract ideals, but concrete techniques to restructure your mental framework. For practical application, Tendler suggests journaling meticulously about your mindset during and after trades, identifying repetitive emotional patterns. Are you consistently anxious at market opens? Do certain price movements consistently trigger frustration? Tendler's method encourages deep reflection, helping you pinpoint and resolve underlying psychological conflicts. The goal isn't emotional suppression, but emotional intelligence, recognizing and strategically managing your mindset to optimize performance. Think of your mindset as the foundation of your trading house. Without solid psychological grounding, even the strongest technical strategy rests on shaky soil, prone to collapse under stress. Tendler challenges you directly. Are you ready to prioritize mindset mastery, shifting your focus from external markets to your internal responses? The transformation is profound. As you gain control over your psychological environment, your trading decisions become clearer, your strategies more resilient, and your profitability more consistent. Ultimately, mastering your trading mindset is not optional, it's essential. Recognize your psychological triggers, build emotional resilience, and forge a stable, disciplined mindset. Once you've addressed your mental game, you'll find the charts are no longer adversaries, but allies in your pursuit of sustainable trading excellence. You stare at your screen, heart racing, palms sweaty, as yet another trade turns red. Have you ever wondered why, despite meticulous planning, emotions suddenly hijack your rational judgment? Jared Tendler addresses this head-on in The Mental Game of Trading, emphasizing that recognizing your emotions is not just helpful, It's vital. Your emotions aren't random intruders, they're clear signals indicating deeper mental issues. Ignoring them is akin to trading blindly without charts or indicators. Emotion recognition, Tendler insists, is your first line of defense against impulsive and destructive trading behavior. You might have spent years mastering chart patterns, technical indicators, and complex algorithms. But have you truly invested time in mastering your emotional responses? When fear tightens your chest after a losing trade, when excitement pushes you into premature entries, these emotional signals aren't trivial inconveniences. They're precise warnings. Tendler highlights that every trader battles emotional patterns unique to their psychological makeup. Some traders become hyper-aggressive after a loss, attempting to immediately reclaim profits through reckless trades. Others shrink into paralyzed indecision, terrified to risk another loss. Neither reaction stems from technical ignorance. Both arise from unmanaged emotional states. Recognizing these patterns early allows you to intervene before they derail your trading strategy entirely. Let's delve deeper into practical scenarios. Picture a trading session that begins with a promising profit, only to swing rapidly into a painful loss. Anger surges through you, fueling an urgent impulse to reverse the damage immediately. Your rational mind knows that trading emotionally is dangerous, but anger overrides caution, tempting you into reckless moves. Tendler calls this emotional escalation, a red flag that your trading mindset has lost control. By understanding and anticipating these emotional responses, you can implement preventive strategies, maintaining discipline in critical moments. In his book, Tendler introduces traders who have overcome chronic emotional trading by applying disciplined self-observation techniques. One compelling example involves a trader named Alex, whose impulsive trading was triggered by anxiety over missed opportunities. By diligently tracking emotional states, Alex identified anxiety as the root cause of his impulsive trades. Recognizing this trigger allowed him to proactively manage his anxiety, significantly reducing harmful trading episodes. Tendler emphasizes this method repeatedly. Emotions must first be acknowledged clearly before they can be strategically managed. Comparing Tendler's insights with Mark Douglas's famous teachings in Trading in the Zone, you'll notice that while Douglas emphasizes a state of emotionless detachment, Tendler focuses instead on emotional awareness and management. It's not about eradicating emotions, something impossible and unnecessary, but about cultivating emotional literacy. Recognizing and understanding your emotions helps you remain balanced, even amidst intense market volatility. Practically, Tendler encourages you to journal about your emotional states meticulously. Identify what triggers fear, anxiety, anger, greed, or frustration in your trading day. When do these emotions typically arise? How do they manifest physically? Maybe your heart rate spikes as trades move against you, or perhaps your breathing becomes shallow during volatile market conditions. Tracking these physical and emotional indicators provides clear data, helping you anticipate and mitigate destructive reactions. Emotion recognition is a skill, and like all skills, it improves with consistent practice. The more accurately you understand your emotional landscape, the more effectively you can navigate market turbulence. Tendler prompts you to ask yourself regularly, what emotions am I feeling right now, and why? Rather than viewing emotions as weaknesses, consider them vital feedback mechanisms, valuable tools to sharpen your psychological edge. Ultimately, understanding your emotions doesn't eliminate their existence. It empowers you to manage their influence consciously. Imagine trading sessions where emotions no longer dictate your actions, where your rational mind calmly steers decisions despite market chaos. Tendler promises that as your emotional recognition sharpens, so too will your trading consistency, confidence, and ultimately profitability. Emotion recognition isn't a mere luxury in trading. It's your essential shield against impulsivity and irrational behavior. By mastering emotional awareness, you position yourself not only as a technical analyst, but as a resilient, balanced trader, equipped to thrive in any market scenario. You've likely faced moments when your trades go wrong, and instinctively you seek answers in your technical analysis. maybe blaming your entry timing, the volatility, or market manipulation. But Jared Tendler, in The Mental Game of Trading, compellingly argues that the real problem often lies deeper, hidden beneath the surface of technical errors. It's a psychological issue masquerading as a technical one, invisible until consciously addressed. Think about your trading journey. You've mastered technical setups, memorized price action patterns, and even developed robust trading plans. Yet, inexplicably, you still find yourself repeating costly mistakes, sabotaging profitable opportunities, or falling prey to emotional trading. Why is this happening? Tendler clarifies that until you identify the root psychological issues underpinning your behavior, your trading won't evolve beyond superficial fixes. Consider an example from your own experience. You repeatedly close profitable trades prematurely, fearful they'll reverse. Technically, you might attribute this to poor risk management or insufficient analysis. Yet, digging deeper, the real issue might be your fear of losing accumulated gains, an emotional barrier, not a technical oversight. By misidentifying the problem, you apply incorrect solutions, leaving the true issue unresolved. Tendler's guidance urges you toward an honest, deep introspection to expose these psychological blind spots. Tendler illustrates this clearly through the case of a trader named Brian, who struggled with discipline, frequently deviating from his well-structured trading plan. Initially, Brian believed his issues stemmed purely from inadequate preparation. But as Tendler guided him deeper into introspection, it became evident that Brian's underlying issue was perfectionism, a profound psychological barrier that made any minor deviation from expected outcomes intolerable, triggering impulsive decisions. Recognizing perfectionism as his true issue allowed Brian to confront and gradually resolve it, resulting in dramatically improved discipline and profitability. Such psychological clarity distinguishes successful traders from perpetual strugglers. Tendler insists that traders often misinterpret their issues as purely technical because technical problems are easier to acknowledge. Admitting psychological flaws feels uncomfortable, even threatening, to your self-image as a competent trader. However, this discomfort is precisely the barrier you must overcome. Until you identify and tackle the emotional and psychological roots beneath technical errors, real improvement remains elusive. Comparing Tendler's insights with trading psychology pioneer Mark Douglas further illuminates this point. Douglas famously argued that trading errors stem primarily from emotional responses rooted in fear or greed. Yet, Tendler advances this understanding by pinpointing specific psychological constructs, such as perfectionism, ego attachment, or fear of failure, that underpin these emotions. While Douglas alerts you to emotional pitfalls, Tendler guides you step by step in diagnosing and surgically addressing their psychological roots. To practically apply this approach, Tendler recommends consistent, structured journaling. Record each trade meticulously, not just technical parameters, but also your emotional states, thoughts, and impulses. If you notice recurring technical mistakes, investigate deeper. Ask yourself, why does this keep happening? What am I truly afraid of or trying to avoid? This method exposes hidden psychological barriers clearly, giving you actionable insights rather than vague frustrations. Additionally, Tendler encourages using reflective questions after each trading session. Was the mistake technical or emotional? What deeper psychological issue might be triggering these repeated errors? Over time, this disciplined introspection transforms your trading experience. Technical clarity becomes complemented by psychological clarity, sharpening your edge dramatically. Ultimately, solving your real trading problems means uncovering the psychological factors lurking behind the facade of technical errors. It's uncomfortable yet necessary, like shining a flashlight into dark corners you'd rather ignore. But remember, Tendler's message is clear. Without addressing the real psychological problems, your technical skill remains incomplete, your profitability inconsistent, and your trading journey endlessly frustrating. Embrace this deeper exploration. Commit to understanding and resolving the psychological issues hidden behind technical struggles. Doing so marks a profound turning point, not just in your trading results, but in your personal growth as a disciplined, resilient trader capable of consistent excellence. Have you ever found yourself spiraling out of control after a series of losses, each decision progressively more reckless than the last? If so, you've encountered one of the most dangerous psychological states in trading, what Jared Tendler describes as tilt. Tilt isn't just mild frustration or irritation, it's an intense emotional reaction that distorts your judgment, triggers impulsive behaviors, and causes catastrophic trading outcomes. Recognizing and managing tilt could be the most decisive step you take toward consistent profitability. Tendler vividly portrays tilt as a hidden saboteur, silently undermining your best laid plans. Unlike more obvious psychological traps, tilt often remains invisible until you're deep into the damage. Perhaps you've experienced it firsthand. A losing trade sparks anger, prompting a revenge trade to get even, only compounding losses. Before you realize it, your trading day has unraveled completely. Tendler asserts clearly, if you can't recognize and halt tilt in its early stages, your trading performance remains perpetually vulnerable. To understand tilt better, Tendler categorizes its forms into specific psychological patterns. For example, revenge tilt occurs when anger and frustration push you into reckless trades intended to quickly recoup losses. Desperation tilt, another common form, emerges when cumulative losses trigger panic, resulting in increasingly risky and irrational decisions. There's also mistake tilt, where a minor error, such as missing a perfect entry, spirals into self-blame and excessive risk-taking, fueled by regret. Let's explore a realistic scenario. Imagine you're trading well until an unexpected news release triggers sudden volatility, turning your profitable position sharply negative. Anger and disbelief flood your mind, and before rational thought can intervene, you impulsively double your risk on the next trade to reclaim your lost gains instantly. You've just entered revenge tilt territory, rational discipline replaced entirely by raw emotional impulse. Recognizing this precise moment, Tendler stresses, is your key to preventing catastrophic outcomes. Tendler shares a compelling case study involving a trader named Michael, whose tilt episodes consistently destroyed weeks of careful profits in mere hours. Michael initially believed he lacked technical discipline. However, deeper introspection with Tendler revealed the true culprit was emotional control, or rather, lack thereof, specifically during periods of heightened market stress. Through structured journaling and deliberate emotional tracking, Michael identified clear signals preceding tilt episodes, allowing him to intervene strategically, protecting his capital and psychological stability. Comparing Tendler's teachings with Mike Bellafiore's insights from the playbook reveals strong agreement on the destructive nature of tilt. Bellafiore emphasizes creating detailed playbooks of precise scenarios to counteract impulsive trading triggered by emotional flare-ups. Tendler complements this strategy by urging deeper psychological awareness and active emotional management. Instead of merely memorizing setups, you develop tools to manage emotional volatility proactively. Practically, Tendler advocates a simple yet powerful approach. Clearly identify your personal tilt triggers. Journaling extensively after losing trades can help highlight repetitive emotional patterns. Perhaps you consistently tilt after missing big moves, or losses following unexpected market spikes trigger your anger. Recognizing these patterns equips you with invaluable foresight, allowing preemptive action, taking short breaks, scaling down position sizes, or practicing brief mindfulness exercises to diffuse emotional intensity before it sabotages your strategy. Another essential practice Tendler recommends is developing mental checkpoints during your trading day. At regular intervals, pause briefly to assess your emotional state. Are you feeling anxious, angry, or desperate? If so, immediately implement predetermined interventions, such as temporarily stepping away or adjusting your trading size. This disciplined self-awareness prevents tilt from escalating unchecked. Ultimately, managing tilt transforms your trading dramatically, replacing emotional chaos with disciplined composure. Imagine a scenario where sudden market volatility no longer triggers impulsive reactions. Instead, you're prepared, calm, and ready to make rational decisions. Tilt management isn't merely beneficial, It's essential. Tendler's message is clear. Neglecting this critical psychological skill leaves your trading dangerously exposed to emotional disaster. Commit now to recognizing and managing tilt. Your trading future depends significantly on your emotional control under pressure. Master this, and you'll unlock a new level of consistent profitability and confidence, forever changing your trading trajectory. Imagine it's Monday morning, the market's open, and immediately pressure grips your chest. Your trades from last week linger in your mind, urging you to replicate success or redeem failures. Jared Tendler, in The Mental Game of Trading, vividly identifies performance pressure as a psychological vice capable of derailing even the most skilled traders. This pressure isn't always external. Often it emerges internally, from your own high expectations, past successes, or haunting failures. Recognizing and managing this pressure is crucial. Without it, consistent trading excellence remains elusive. Performance pressure manifests uniquely for every trader. Perhaps you feel intense anxiety during live trading, your hands shaking slightly as you click the mouse. Maybe a looming fear of disappointing your peers, family, or yourself magnifies minor setbacks into devastating failures. Tendler clarifies that performance pressure isn't just uncomfortable, it actively damages your decision-making process, clouding rational judgment and escalating impulsive reactions. Consider a common scenario. You recently experienced significant trading success, achieving your highest monthly returns yet. Now, as a new month begins, pressure mounts. You feel compelled to repeat or surpass previous achievements. This burden quickly turns destructive, causing overly aggressive risk-taking or, conversely, paralyzing hesitation. Tendler calls this result-oriented pressure, emphasizing that it directly undermines trading consistency, replacing disciplined decision-making with desperate attempts to achieve predetermined outcomes. Tendler offers a striking example involving a trader named Sarah, whose exceptional performance quickly elevated expectations, both external and internal. Initially, Sarah relished the recognition, unaware that increasing pressure accompanied her rising success. Soon, this invisible burden became suffocating. Every trade felt crucial, each loss devastating. Sarah's once confident execution deteriorated into anxiety-driven decisions. Only after intensive reflection and systematic journaling, guided by Tendler, did Sarah pinpoint and gradually release this overwhelming performance pressure, restoring balance and consistency to her trading. Comparatively, Mike Bellafiore in the playbook highlights similar risks associated with unchecked performance pressure, advocating meticulous routines to insulate traders from emotional volatility. Tendler aligns closely, but dives deeper, guiding you to actively acknowledge and strategically dismantle the psychological foundations of your performance anxiety. Rather than masking symptoms, you address underlying causes directly. Practically, Tendler recommends creating mental clarity before each trading session through structured routines. Simple yet powerful practices, such as reviewing your trading plan calmly, visualizing various scenarios without emotional attachment, or employing brief mindfulness exercises, can substantially reduce internal pressure. This disciplined preparation anchors you firmly in the present, rather than trapped by past successes or future expectations. Moreover, Tendler emphasizes the importance of shifting your mental framework from outcome-focused to process-focused trading. Instead of fixating on profits or losses, concentrate rigorously on disciplined execution of your trading plan. Ask yourself, am I executing my strategy effectively, irrespective of short-term outcomes? This mindset adjustment significantly reduces emotional volatility, diminishing pressure and restoring clarity to your decision-making. Performance pressure often intensifies after consecutive losses, creating desperation that compels irrational trades to recapture lost capital swiftly. Tendler advises proactive risk management strategies, such as temporary position sizing adjustments or planned breaks, to alleviate pressure during challenging periods. Preemptively acknowledging pressure, rather than denying its presence, transforms your trading behavior from reactive desperation into proactive resilience. Reflect now on your personal trading journey. Can you identify moments when performance pressure directly impaired your decisions? Were you aware of this psychological force, or were you mistakenly attributing failures solely to technical errors or market conditions? Tendler's message is direct and powerful. Performance pressure must be confronted openly. Ignoring or denying it ensures ongoing vulnerability, whereas active management positions you firmly in control, significantly enhancing your trading consistency. Ultimately, trading under performance pressure is akin to driving with your brakes partially engaged. You're operating inefficiently, wearing yourself down emotionally and financially. Tendler calls on you urgently. Release the pressure by consciously embracing disciplined, process-oriented trading, free from internal and external expectations. The clarity and composure gained from this shift are profound, transforming anxiety-ridden sessions into confident, disciplined performance. Commit today to identifying and managing your unique performance pressure. Doing so unlocks a level of consistent profitability, emotional clarity, and trading resilience previously unattainable, forever redefining your relationship with the market. Picture yourself mid-trade. The market moves swiftly in your favor, and your confidence surges. You think you're unstoppable, invincible even, until suddenly the price reverses sharply, erasing your profits and spiraling into a loss. Jared Tendler, in The Mental Game of Trading, zeroes in on this critical psychological factor: confidence. Too little and fear paralyzes your decision-making. Too much and reckless overconfidence blinds you to risks. The delicate balance, calibrated confidence, is the sweet spot where sustainable, profitable trading thrives. Confidence is deceptively complex. Many traders mistakenly equate it solely with success, believing repeated wins naturally build unshakable confidence. Yet Tendler challenges this simplistic assumption. Genuine confidence, he argues, is stable and resilient, grounded not in temporary outcomes, but in your proven process and disciplined execution. True confidence withstands losses without collapse and accepts wins without irrational exuberance. Think deeply about your trading experiences. Have you fluctuated between extremes of fearfulness after a losing streak and reckless boldness following profitable trades? These emotional swings aren't trivial. They're clear indicators of miscalibrated confidence. Tendler emphasizes that your psychological stability depends heavily on maintaining consistent, realistic confidence, unaffected by short-term market outcomes. Consider the example of Dan, a trader highlighted in Tendler's work, whose frequent emotional swings severely impacted his trading results. After significant wins, Dan's confidence ballooned dangerously, prompting aggressive risk-taking and disregard for disciplined stop-loss management. Conversely, after losses, Dan's confidence plunged dramatically, resulting in paralyzing fear and hesitation. Through detailed journaling and focused introspection under Tendler's guidance, Dan realized that his confidence was excessively tied to recent trading outcomes rather than his long-term disciplined process. Once he recalibrated his confidence, aligning it firmly with consistent execution rather than immediate results, his trading performance stabilized dramatically. Comparatively, Mark Douglas in Trading in the Zone emphasizes similar principles, insisting confidence in trading must derive from consistent, disciplined methodology rather than erratic emotional responses to market fluctuations. However, Tendler deepens this discussion, providing practical psychological techniques to actively recalibrate your confidence. It's not merely understanding confidence theoretically, but intentionally shaping it through structured reflection and disciplined practice. To practically recalibrate your confidence, Tendler strongly recommends journaling daily, not just your trades, but your emotional responses and psychological shifts. Observe carefully how winning streaks inflate your confidence and losses puncture it. The key is awareness. Recognizing these fluctuations allows intentional recalibration. Tendler suggests frequently reminding yourself that genuine confidence rests in disciplined execution, independent of temporary outcomes. Additionally, Tendler urges traders to deliberately normalize losses as integral parts of trading. Instead of viewing each loss as catastrophic or confidence-shattering, frame them as valuable feedback for refining your process. Ask yourself consistently after each loss, what can I learn from this trade? This subtle mental shift significantly stabilizes confidence, preventing extreme emotional swings. Another powerful practical technique involves setting clear, objective criteria for assessing your trading confidence. Rather than subjective feelings, measure confidence objectively, based on how faithfully you execute your trading plan, manage risks, and maintain disciplined composure under stress. When you define confidence this way, short-term outcomes lose their emotional volatility, replaced by steady, measured progress toward long-term trading mastery. Ultimately, calibrated confidence transforms your trading dramatically. Imagine operating daily with stable, reliable confidence, unaffected by temporary market turbulence, no longer vulnerable to reckless arrogance or debilitating fear. This state is achievable, Tendler asserts clearly, through disciplined emotional management and intentional psychological practice. Reflect deeply now. Where does your trading confidence currently reside? Is it dangerously volatile, fluctuating unpredictably with short-term outcomes? Or is it steady, resilient, and grounded firmly in disciplined execution? Tendler challenges you directly to commit immediately to recalibrating your confidence, shifting your psychological anchor from outcomes to consistent process. By mastering calibrated confidence, you elevate your trading from emotional roller coaster to disciplined professionalism. The impact is profound, enhancing not just your profitability, but your psychological resilience, ensuring sustainable success in your trading career. Have you ever hesitated to enter a perfect trade setup because the memory of past mistakes froze your confidence? Or perhaps you've skipped clear opportunities, terrified of repeating previous errors, only to watch markets soar without you. Jared Tendler, in The Mental Game of Trading, tackles this common psychological hurdle head on: the fear of mistakes. He asserts forcefully that your fear isn't just uncomfortable, it's actively sabotaging your trading success, while paralyzing decisions and suffocating profitability. Fear of mistakes, Tendler explains, isn't merely an emotional inconvenience, it's a destructive psychological cycle. It starts innocently enough. A losing trade leaves an emotional scar, creating anxiety. Subsequent trades become burdened with heightened caution or outright avoidance, limiting potential gains. Soon, even rational trading decisions trigger irrational fear, causing hesitation or paralysis. Breaking this vicious cycle demands a clear, structured psychological approach. Reflect on your personal trading history. How often have you hesitated, waiting too long to pull the trigger due to past errors haunting your decisions? These fears rarely diminish naturally. Instead, they magnify, fueling anxiety, draining confidence, and strangling decisive action. Tendler makes it crystal clear: conquering your fear of mistakes isn't optional, it's essential. Only then can you reclaim rational, disciplined trading and consistent profitability. Consider a practical example. Lisa, a trader highlighted by Tendler, experienced chronic hesitation stemming from an intense fear of repeating past losses. Each trade became an emotional battleground. Even clear opportunities triggered overwhelming anxiety. Initially, Lisa attributed this to technical uncertainty, yet deeper reflection revealed her true barrier was psychological: a profound fear of failure rooted in past mistakes. Through diligent journaling and intentional mindset adjustments guided by Tendler, Lisa reframed her relationship with mistakes. She learned to view errors not as catastrophic failures, but as vital feedback for ongoing improvement. Gradually, her fear subsided, replaced by renewed confidence and decisive execution. Comparing Tendler's insights with legendary trading psychologist Mark Douglas's teachings, you'll see shared emphasis on transforming how you perceive mistakes. Douglas advocated viewing losses neutrally as inherent market probabilities, not personal failings. Tendler expands this understanding, empowering you not only to accept, but to leverage mistakes strategically as powerful learning tools, actively refining your trading process and emotional resilience. Practically, Tendler suggests deliberate psychological reframing. Rather than instinctively fearing mistakes, intentionally embrace them as essential elements of trading growth. After every losing trade, ask yourself constructively, what specific lesson can I learn from this mistake? By consistently extracting valuable insights, you shift your emotional response from fearful paralysis toward proactive improvement. Over time, mistakes become allies rather than enemies, guiding steady, disciplined progress. Furthermore, Tendler emphasizes setting clear, realistic expectations around mistakes. Recognize explicitly that errors are inevitable, even essential, in trading. Attempting to avoid mistakes entirely only intensifies anxiety, amplifies fear, and sabotages profitability. Instead, consciously normalize errors within your psychological framework. When mistakes occur, respond rationally and productively, learning, adapting, and improving your trading discipline. Another effective technique involves detailed pre-trade preparation. Clearly outline scenarios beforehand, including potential mistakes or adverse outcomes. By mentally rehearsing these possibilities, you reduce their emotional impact, significantly mitigating fear and enhancing decisive action. Tendler stresses the importance of proactively addressing rather than passively fearing mistakes. Psychological preparedness dramatically enhances your trading resilience. Imagine now trading with calm confidence, unburdened by the haunting fear of mistakes. Picture yourself decisively executing trades, even in challenging market conditions, calmly accepting outcomes without emotional turmoil. Tendler assures you this state is achievable, not through avoidance or denial, but through structured psychological mastery. Ultimately, conquering your fear of mistakes transforms your trading profoundly, unlocking decisive execution, consistent profitability, and emotional freedom. Tendler challenges you directly. Commit immediately to reframing your perception of mistakes, actively transforming fear into proactive learning. Your trading performance depends fundamentally on your psychological approach to mistakes. Master this skill, and you'll unlock unprecedented clarity, resilience, and profitability in your trading journey, forever changing your market experience. Have you ever found yourself entering a trade prematurely, driven by the anxiety of missing out, only to regret your impatience as losses pile up? Or perhaps greed has compelled you to hold on to winning positions too long, turning solid profits into frustrating losses. Jared Tendler, in The Mental Game of Trading, dives deeply into these twin emotional pitfalls, greed and impatience, highlighting them as key psychological saboteurs that consistently disrupt rational trading decisions. Greed and impatience share a subtle but powerful bond. Both emotions distort your perception, compelling irrational decisions based on short-term impulses rather than disciplined, strategic execution. Tendler clearly illustrates how greed blinds you to risk, inflating confidence dangerously. Impatience, on the other hand, erodes disciplined timing, pushing you into trades prematurely. Until you recognize and strategically manage these emotions, trading consistency remains frustratingly elusive. Reflect honestly on your own experiences. Have greed or impatience ever derailed your trades? Perhaps you've jumped hastily into trending markets, terrified you'll miss rapid gains. Or maybe greed has caused you to ignore exit signals, imagining endless profit potential. Tendler asserts these psychological errors aren't just incidental. They're chronic threats to sustainable profitability, demanding your immediate attention. Take the example of Robert, a trader Tendler describes vividly. Robert frequently chased fast-moving market trends out of impatience, afraid he'd miss significant profits. Often, this impulsive entry placed him into volatile positions at poor price points, resulting in consistent losses. Similarly, greed consistently trapped Robert, tempting him to hold positions too long, ignoring disciplined profit-taking rules until profits vanished. Through structured journaling and emotional introspection, guided by Tendler's approach, Robert identified greed and impatience as his primary psychological barriers, learning gradually to manage these impulses strategically, transforming his trading outcomes. Comparatively, legendary trading psychologist Mark Douglas also emphasizes emotional discipline, cautioning strongly against impulsive reactions driven by fear or greed. Tendler complements Douglas's teachings by providing actionable psychological techniques to practically manage greed and impatience, rather than merely advising traders to avoid emotional trading abstractly. Practically, Tendler strongly advocates proactive emotional monitoring through structured journaling. Identify clearly when greed or impatience most frequently arises during your trading. Are specific market conditions or setups consistently triggering these impulses? By mapping emotional triggers precisely, you significantly enhance your psychological preparedness, preemptively managing emotional reactions. Additionally, Tendler recommends developing clear, objective trading rules designed explicitly to counteract emotional impulses. For example, create strict criteria for trade entry timing, eliminating impulsive entries driven by impatience. Similarly, establish disciplined profit-taking rules, reducing greed-driven holding of winning trades beyond rational targets. Committing firmly to these disciplined practices, regardless of emotional urges, dramatically enhances your trading consistency. Another effective psychological tool Tendler emphasizes involves active visualization techniques before each trading session. Mentally rehearse scenarios where greed or impatience commonly sabotage your discipline. Picture yourself encountering these emotions clearly, yet responding rationally, adhering strictly to your trading rules. Regular visualization strengthens psychological discipline significantly, making real-time emotional management dramatically easier. Tendler also strongly encourages utilizing small, controlled exposures to your emotional impulses as deliberate psychological training exercises. Intentionally expose yourself to minor instances of impatience or greed, consciously practicing disciplined emotional control. Gradually, your psychological resilience strengthens, transforming impulsive reactions into disciplined composure. Imagine now trading confidently, disciplined, free from impulsive greed or destructive impatience. Picture yourself calmly evaluating each trade objectively, entering positions patiently, exiting strategically. Your trading defined by rational discipline rather than emotional volatility. Tendler assures this transformation is achievable through structured emotional mastery. Ultimately, greed and impatience aren't minor emotional nuisances, they're chronic psychological obstacles significantly impeding trading success. Confront these impulses actively, strategically, and deliberately. Tendler challenges you directly. Commit immediately to disciplined emotional management, firmly controlling greed and impatience before they sabotage your trading further. Mastering emotional discipline transforms your trading dramatically, ensuring consistent profitability, psychological stability, and long-term market resilience. Your trading future demands it. Start now. Think back to your early trading days. Perhaps discipline felt natural then, motivated by enthusiasm and clear-eyed ambition. But what happens when the initial excitement fades, replaced by the daily grind, fatigue, or persistent market frustrations? Jared Tendler, in The Mental Game of Trading, addresses this critical yet often overlooked aspect, sustaining your discipline over the long haul. Without deliberate psychological strategies, discipline inevitably erodes under market pressure, fatigue, or boredom, threatening your trading consistency and profitability. Discipline in trading is frequently misunderstood as merely rigid rule following or unyielding adherence to a predetermined plan. Yet Tendler emphasizes that true discipline extends beyond mechanical obedience. It involves continuous psychological commitment, consistently managing your emotions, maintaining clarity under stress, and staying resilient despite setbacks. Sustainable discipline requires strategic emotional management, psychological endurance, and intentional self-care. Reflect carefully on your personal trading experiences. Have there been periods when your discipline deteriorated gradually, triggered by fatigue or persistent losses? Perhaps initial enthusiasm sustained disciplined execution, yet over time, emotional fatigue crept in, gradually eroding your trading consistency. Tendler asserts unequivocally that neglecting sustainable discipline strategies leaves your trading dangerously vulnerable to emotional burnout and prolonged performance declines. Consider the powerful case study of Chris, a seasoned trader featured prominently by Tendler. Initially, Chris maintained exemplary discipline, consistently profitable, methodical, and emotionally controlled. However, gradually, Chris found his discipline eroding subtly, triggered by persistent market volatility and emotional fatigue. Small lapses multiplied into significant errors. Before long, Chris faced severe performance declines, overwhelmed and demoralized. Only after structured psychological coaching and deliberate emotional resilience practices did Chris regain and sustain disciplined trading, recognizing clearly that maintaining discipline requires ongoing psychological strategies, not merely temporary enthusiasm. Comparatively, Mike Bellafiore, in The Playbook, also emphasizes sustainable discipline through structured daily routines, meticulous preparation, and continuous psychological reflection. Tendler complements this approach profoundly, providing detailed psychological techniques specifically targeting emotional fatigue, stress management, and disciplined resilience under prolonged market pressures. Practically, Tendler strongly advocates incorporating structured psychological routines into your daily trading practice. Regularly scheduled breaks, brief mindfulness exercises, or systematic journaling significantly enhance your emotional resilience, reducing fatigue-induced discipline erosion. Recognize explicitly that sustained discipline isn't accidental. It demands intentional, disciplined psychological management every trading day. Moreover, Tendler recommends actively managing emotional fatigue through deliberate self-care practices. Prioritize consistent sleep schedules, physical exercise, balanced nutrition, and social connections. These seemingly basic strategies dramatically enhance psychological resilience, ensuring emotional clarity and sustained discipline under persistent market stress. Another powerful psychological technique involves regularly revisiting and reinforcing your foundational trading motivations. Reflect deliberately on why trading discipline matters deeply to you personally: financial freedom, personal mastery, or professional achievement. Regularly reconnecting emotionally with these deeper motivations renews psychological energy, combating discipline erosion effectively. Tendler also emphasizes creating systematic, incremental discipline reinforcement strategies. Regularly challenge yourself slightly outside your emotional comfort zone, practicing disciplined execution even under mild stress deliberately. Gradually, these incremental challenges strengthen your psychological resilience dramatically, ensuring sustained discipline under increasingly intense market pressures. Imagine trading sustainably disciplined every day, resilient under stress, fatigue, or market volatility. Picture yourself executing rationally, confidently, and consistently, not briefly, but year after year. Tendler assures you this sustained discipline state is achievable, provided you intentionally implement structured psychological practices into your daily trading routine. Ultimately, sustaining discipline transforms your trading profoundly, shifting from temporary enthusiasm to disciplined longevity. Tendler's message is forceful and direct. Sustainable discipline demands psychological intentionality, emotional resilience strategies, and proactive self-care. Ignore this critical psychological truth, and your trading consistency remains permanently at risk. Commit immediately to disciplined psychological practices, structured routines, emotional resilience techniques, intentional self-care, ensuring sustained discipline throughout your trading career. The impact is transformative, elevating your trading from erratic bursts of discipline into sustainable, profitable consistency. Your future profitability and emotional resilience depend profoundly on this sustained psychological discipline. Start today. Imagine looking back at your trading journey, each mistake, success, and emotional battle, and realizing that your most profound growth wasn't technical, but psychological. Jared Tendler, in The Mental Game of Trading, leaves no room for misunderstanding. Continuous psychological improvement isn't optional, it's mandatory. To truly succeed long term, you must commit wholeheartedly to consistent psychological refinement, ensuring your emotional resilience grows alongside your trading skills. Trading isn't static. Markets constantly evolve, volatility fluctuates, and challenges shift unpredictably. Your psychological approach must adapt equally dynamically. Yet, traders often neglect ongoing psychological development, mistakenly believing initial mindset training is sufficient. Tendler dispels this dangerous illusion clearly. Psychological mastery is never complete. It demands constant attention, reflection, and proactive refinement throughout your trading career. Reflect honestly. Have you ever plateaued psychologically, complacent after initial mindset improvements? Perhaps you diligently tackled early emotional issues, yet stopped actively pursuing further psychological growth. Tendler emphasizes repeatedly static mindsets inevitably regress under sustained market stress. Your trading longevity depends entirely on consistent, deliberate psychological advancement. Consider the vivid example of Emma, a successful trader featured prominently by Tendler. Initially, Emma's mindset coaching dramatically improved her trading consistency. However, complacency gradually replaced intentional psychological reflection. Without ongoing growth, Emma's mindset deteriorated subtly, culminating in severe emotional trading episodes during increased market volatility. Only when Emma recommitted fully to structured psychological reflection and continuous emotional refinement did she regain consistency and profitability, clearly recognizing that psychological improvement demands ongoing attention, not intermittent efforts. Comparatively, Mark Douglas, in Trading in the Zone, famously emphasizes the importance of sustained psychological discipline, highlighting that continuous improvement isn't a one-time task, but a permanent commitment. Tendler aligns strongly, but provides concrete, actionable techniques specifically designed for continuous psychological growth, structured journaling, intentional emotional reflection, and systematic mindset adjustments. Practically, Tendler strongly advocates maintaining a structured psychological journal indefinitely, regularly recording trades, emotional states, psychological reflections, and lessons learned. Consistent journaling significantly accelerates psychological clarity, identifying emotional patterns and growth opportunities vividly, transforming vague frustrations into actionable insights. Moreover, Tendler emphasizes scheduling regular, dedicated mindset review sessions, weekly or monthly reflections explicitly devoted to psychological improvement. During these sessions, systematically assess your emotional resilience, discipline, emotional triggers, and overall psychological stability. Clearly identify areas needing further refinement, proactively creating targeted growth strategies. Intentional, regular psychological reviews significantly enhance emotional clarity, accelerating your continuous improvement profoundly. Another powerful psychological tool Tendler recommends involves seeking external perspectives periodically. Professional coaching sessions, peer group reflections, or structured mentorship relationships significantly enhance psychological growth, illuminating emotional blind spots clearly. External perspectives prevent psychological stagnation, continually pushing you toward deeper, sustained improvement. Tendler also emphasizes continuously updating your psychological goals explicitly, maintaining clear, measurable objectives around emotional discipline, resilience, and mindset growth. Regularly review, adjust, and refine these psychological goals intentionally, ensuring consistent, targeted emotional advancement alongside your technical trading progress. Imagine clearly your trading future. Consistently profitable, emotionally resilient, disciplined, and deeply self aware, constantly improving psychologically alongside technical mastery. Tendler assures this transformative vision is achievable through deliberate, ongoing psychological refinement. Continuous improvement isn't a vague aspiration, it's an actionable, structured commitment. Ultimately, trading excellence demands ongoing psychological growth. Markets evolve constantly. Your mindset must evolve equally dynamically. Tendler directly challenges you. Commit fully to continuous psychological improvement now, recognizing clearly that complacency equals vulnerability. Your trading profitability, emotional resilience, and long term success depend profoundly on sustained psychological advancement. Start today. Your future trading self demands it. Continuous psychological improvement transforms your trading journey profoundly, elevating temporary consistency into permanent mastery, emotional stability, and sustainable profitability.